I was glad he threw strikes. I figured there'd be a lot of adrenaline. Waiting an extra month to play, I figured there'd be a lot of adrenaline, and I think he did just fine.
He said you told him earlier today that you were going to use him regardless just to get back out there.
Yeah.
How beneficial do you think that is for him to be able to get his feet wet in a non-safe situation?
I think it's important. He's had a couple of days off. We wanted to make sure that we got him in tonight. If it would have been a safe situation, I think he would have been fine too. I would have used him. I wasn't hesitant about that. But it's always nice to get your first one under your belt.
As a former catcher, how tough a job is that for McCann, who hasn't seen him since March, trying to catch what he brings to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in spring training that I wanted to see. I made sure he saw him some, because I knew he wouldn't see him for a month and it would be strange. But it's still, when you haven't seen a guy in a real game situation, it's a little difficult.
What'd you think of Nova tonight?
I thought he did a tremendous job. I hated to pull him out there. I let him go a little bit further. We said 75 or 80. I was hoping he'd get a double play so he would, get the win, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Who else? Andrew.
Joe, when you see 100 4 times or 101, what goes through your mind?
Whew, throws hard. I mean, I think we all take a look at the board to see what it is. I have some guys in the back end of that bullpen that throw really, really hard. And to see that 101, it's not something you see every day.
Mark.
Joe, as much as Chapman is a story tonight, 5 home runs, 4 different guys, considering your offense really hasn't had much power for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
How much of a welcome sight was that for you?
Well, that was nice to see. You look up and you have 5 solo shots and you have a 5-1 lead in the third inning. It's nice to see. It's something that we hit a lot of last year. We have not yet up until this point, but maybe this gets us going.
And 2 homers from Beltre. I mean, how much of a contribution is that, especially considering the injuries you guys are facing?
Oh, it's big. Carlos has been playing every day here, and I know at some point, I'll probably have to pick a day here to give him a day. But I'm trying to DH him as much as possible to keep his bat in the lineup, but it's nice to see.
Clap.
Joe, you yourself just said that, you see a Chapman pitch and you look for the velocity. It's going to be fun. Obviously, the fans are going to get into it every time he pitches. They're going to be looking to see 100, 101, maybe more. Do you think that could almost be a distraction, that Chapman might get too involved with that?
Well, I think he's used to it. This isn't some newfound fastball. So I think we'll probably get away. I mean, I check all the time anyway, our guys. It's kind of a signal, in your mind. If all of a sudden you see velocity fall off, maybe something's wrong. So I look all the time. But 101 you just don't see every day.
Anyone else? Yes, Andrew.
What did you think of the fans' reaction to Chapman?
Well, it seemed pretty good. I had people over me screaming to bring him in the game, over the dugout. So, I thought it was pretty good.
Anyone else? Oh, a couple more. Here you go.
Do you think the early run production helped to ease Ivan's nerves, if he had any at all?
Yeah, I think that helps. I think it always helps any starting pitcher, knowing that, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the game in a sense. So I think that always helps.
Billy?
You like to, if guys get up in the bullpen, you like to bring them in, but you didn't with Miller and Betances tonight. What was your thinking in those situations?
I mean, if I felt that if we could not use them, it'd be great. If we got in a situation where I felt that I need them, I wanted to make sure they were ready.
Ryan? Against the wall.
Joe, I think Shreve's given up 5 home runs in his last 6 innings. What do you make of him?
He's just making mistakes with his fastball. He's missing his spot, and we got to get him back on track.
Andrew?
Joe, just to refresh my memory, in terms of when you have a guy up like that, you get, Miller and Betances hot. How does that impact how you use them, the next?
Well, I won't hesitate to use them tomorrow. But it's not something I want to do a lot of. But it was 5-1. They get a couple runners on. I was going to bring Dellin in. And then it was 6-1. Then it was 6-2. And you figure if they get a couple runners, I'm going to bring Andrew in. So it's not something I want to do a lot of, but Dellin, both of them really know what they're doing down there, and they know how to pace themselves, so that helps.
In the middle, Jesse.
What have you found here with Yates, and not just tonight, but the job that he's done in general?
He's done a really good job. He's experienced, and he's got deception. He's got a little bit of a turn in his motion. He's different than some of our pitchers. He's not so much over the top, and his fastball rides a little bit. So he's done a really nice job for us.
Billy.
This was an unusual circumstance with Chapman, but how close were you, or how much further were you willing to let him go?
I didn't get anybody up.
Brendan, last one on the right.
He threw just 17 pitches tonight, but it's his first outing of the year. Would you be inclined to use him tomorrow?
He's went back to back, so yes.
Okay.